Okay. So we're talking about where can I put my money? Everyone's online, social media, YouTube, these financial advisors, various wealth managers and financial gurus are saying you should save your money here, save your money there, put it in a bank account, put it in a CD, leave it in the stock market, maybe invest it in your what are they doing? This velocity banking. So put it in a home equity loan and pay your, there everyone has all these ideas, right? So um, you know, this financial tip is just basically going to be straightforward. I'm not trying to pull the wool over your eyes. As always, I'm just trying to educate you guys on how the money really works, so that way you can make better decisions, before you decide where you're going to invest your money. See, it's one thing just to be ignorant and do something because someone told you to do it, right? But if you do something that you kind of already knew what you were doing and then it doesn't work out or works out, at least you kind of went into the situation in control, right? So I just want to make sure you guys understand what's really going on out here with your money. And you kind of hear these different things, so and so says that's invested here, so and so says put my money here, put my money there. So I'm just going to walk you through and just kind of show you the actual ideal benefits of what people typically want, what you really want when you're investing. All right. So we jump right into it. So ideally, you want tax deferred growth, right? That's a no brainer. You want some tax deferred growth. You want tax free distribution. Okay. Now, as I go through these examples, this is what banks usually look for. And we try to mimic banks, right? We want to mimic banks. So, and people that are wealthy, they kind of think like this as well. We want to get a competitive return. We're not saying we have to have the highest return, but we want something that's competitive, right? We also want high contributions. We want the ability to be able to not be limited where we can put our money, i.e. 401k, right? We don't want them to say, oh, the max you can put in is XYZ per year. Can't put any more than that in. We want to be able to make high contributions at our leisure if we want to. We want deductible contributions. We want to be able to write those things off as well if we can. We want collateral opportunities. We want to be able to collateralize that money, meaning we want to be able to take that money, right, and use that money without really using that money, if that makes sense. We want to be able to say, hey, I have $10,000, for example, so I want you to let me borrow $10,000, but I want my $10,000 to stay where it is and continue to grow. Yes, there are options out here for you like that, right? Again, we want to think like banks. We want to think like banks. We want it to be safe. Look what's going on right now with this COVID stuff, man. Even going back to 2008 with the mortgage crisis, man, with the financial crisis. Now we're dealing with the pandemic from a health standpoint, and it's killing the market. You have people that were going to retire this year that now are talking about having to work another 5 years in hopes of regaining that money that they put into their 401k. Shit's sad, man. All because we just kind of do what we're told versus I don't even want to call it thinking outside the box instead of doing a little due diligence and seeing what's best for us, right? So we also want no loss provisions. We want to get some guaranteed loan options, meaning we don't want to have to fill out some damn application in hopes that we get approved for the loan. We want something we can go to and say, man, I know I can take this money right here. I know I'm gonna get approved for this. Yes, there are things out there like that. There are things like that out there available for you guys. Again, it's just kind of having knowledge and knowing, what's out here for you, right? We want unstructured loan payments. Shoot, man, in the ideal world, we want to be able to pay it back at our own leisure, how we want to pay it back, not based on some schedule. Car loan, you miss a payment, what do they do? Because when you get a car loan, any loan, but we're going to say car loan, for example, when you get a car loan, let's say you got a $15,000 car loan, right? And you're making payments. What you in essence have done is you've given the bank the right to put a lien on your credit. And what does that mean? So that means if you miss a payment, what do? They go tattletale to the credit bureau. Boom, scores going down. So that's a lien on your credit, right? Now they gave you the money based on your credit and your financial situation, your financial strength, or what have you, to borrow. But you know, ideally, we want to be able to pay the money back to our own accord, however we want to pay it back. We don't want these structures. And if we don't pay it back 1 month, we don't want nobody tattletelling to the credit bureaus on us. There are options out here like that. Again, once you have knowledge, man, you can know how to move with your money. You know, it's not about where you spend your money. It's about knowing if you are spending your money in a certain place, at least knowing what the ramifications of it are. A lot of people just invest here, invest there because they see everybody else doing it. Man, stop doing that shit. You know, that's what most people do. Again, i.e. 401k. You know, you got people that make $30,000 a year in a 401k, and you got people making $2 million a year, and guess what? They're in a freaking 401k. Why would these two don't even match, where it's like demographically and financially, where it's cookie cutter. They just throw you into a 401k. Man, get out of here. We want to be liquid. We want control. We want it at our leisure when we want it. Additional benefits that they may be, right? So let's take a look. What are some of the things that people are saying? So we got all the bullet points that a lot of the banks like to look at, and a lot of wealthy individuals that know about these type of vehicles that they look for when they're investing. So a lot of people say, man, I just keep my money in a savings account or a money market account that's getting me 3-4% interest, 2% interest, you know, or savings account that's not even getting me 1%, but it's a savings account, right? So let's see what are the benefits from putting our money in a savings account. All right, you actually get 4 of the benefits. So it's safe, no loss provisions, okay? It's liquidity, meaning you can take it out, use it whenever you want to. You got the high contributions, meaning you can put as much money in there as you want to in your savings account. And you have collateral opportunities, meaning you can take that money out and, you know, go put it into an investment and make more money, right? But you're not getting a competitive return. Look at what you're not getting. Look at what you're not getting, which sucks, all right? Then I've had clients say, man, well, CDs are the way to go. Yeah, safe, no loss provisions, you know, same thing pretty much as a savings account, right? And then we have what down here. I'm gonna save that one for last because I get pissed about that one. Let's look at stock portfolios, invested in the market. Stock portfolios. Sure, you can get a competitive return if the market's doing well. Yep. Get a loan option, all right? High contributions mean if you want to buy some stock, go spend as much money as you want to. Collateral opportunities, meaning to take that money and go make more money off of it, to collateralize that money. It's liquidity, use and control. So it's yours at your leisure. Use it how you want to, as long as it's available to you. Now let's talk about 401ks. Tax deferred growth. Yes, competitive return. If the market's playing fair. Deductible contributions. Sure. You know, it's pre-tax. Okay. And then additional benefits, i.e., you know, like what they're doing now. They're allowing you to take money out without that 10% penalty that they typically charge. You know, even down the line, you know, you take withdrawals and things of that nature, but will be taxed. But, you know, some additional benefits there. I don't recommend, but hey, I'm just giving you the facts. I'm just putting this stuff out here so you can kind of know what benefits come from all these options and all these gurus are telling you to do this and do that. I'm giving it to you right here. You can see it. Now let's talk about real estate equity and HELOC, which is a home equity line of credit. So there's this, you know, thing what people are doing called velocity banking. And, you know, we're going to show you how to take the money from your line of credit. You're going to pay your bills off of that and then flip it. And then you're going to come back and do it again. All that sounds good. It sounds good. But let me give you facts. What if you are using your line of credit to pay your bills, right? And then you take your paycheck and you put it back on your line of credit and you know, it's going well for a year, maybe 2, right? But then what if the bank just says, well, we cut your line of credit off? No reason. You pay it on time all the time. You know, you don't really use a lot of the balance, you know, but they just end it. Yes, they can do that. They can call that loan anytime they want. So then your whole velocity banking situation is just done. See, that's what they don't tell you. People don't tell you that when these gurus are out here saying, oh, we're going to use your line of credit, we're going to pay this off, and we're going to do that. And it sounds great, but it's very risky because you're at the mercy of the bank saying at any time. It's not because you were behind on your payments. They could determine, we're going to call that loan because it's a line of credit. We don't know just how much you may use at one time. And they just may decide to trim their portfolio a little bit and change their lending parameters. And they may say, we're cutting that off. Oh, at the time you may have a balance of $20,000. You still owe what you use, but you don't have access to it anymore. Or you could have been using it, paying off it, doing it the right way, paying it off, using it, whatever. No balance right now. And they still call it and they still cut it off. Why would anyone want to consider a HELOC an investment vehicle? Because at any time it can be taken away. Now, if you're okay with that, go for it. That's tax deferred growth, right? Collateral opportunity is pretty much it. Doesn't give you any of the other benefits. So we've looked at them all, right? We looked at everything. All right, now let's look at the last one. My favorite. Permanent life insurance. That's right. A properly structured and designed life insurance policy. So a lot of people just think life insurance is for dying. Oh, it's just for when you die. No. This is where a lot of the wealthy people in America, this is where they park their money. This is not an investment. This is saving. See, investment means risk. Savings is saving. It's safe, right? But look at all the benefits you're getting. I mean, unstructured loan payments. You decide when you pay back, how much you pay back, how often you pay. It's safe. Tax deferred growth, free tax distribution, tax free. Take that money. Competitive returns, liquidity, use, and most importantly, control. You control everything. And I love the collateral opportunities. See, I'm gonna give you an example of savings account, CD, any of those other options that you just saw, right? Let's use a CD or CD, for example, right? Let's use a savings account, I'm sorry. So let's say you have $20,000 in your savings account, right? Then your cash value life insurance policy, you have $20,000, right? So you have an opportunity to invest $20,000 in a real estate deal, because someone is going to be renovating a property and they're going to flip it and they're saying they're going to give you a return. So it's a quick hit because, the developer is really good and you decide, man, I need to jump on this. I'm getting a good return. Great. So you take the money out your savings account, invest it, right? And, when you invest it, that $20,000 that was in your account is gone. So immediately you lost all the ability to earn that compounding interest. Or I'm sorry, not even compounding interest, period, right? Because it's gone, it's zero, right? Now, same opportunity to invest in this real estate transaction, and you take the money from your life insurance policy, you're not actually taking it, you're collateralizing it. So you have that $20,000 there, the insurance companies are going to say, okay, you're good for it because you have the money there. We're going to write you a check for our money. We're going to give you our money. So you're not using your money. See, that's what a lot of these gurus fail to tell you. You're not using your money. You're using the life insurance company's money. So what that means is, whereas though in the savings account, that money's gone, the $20,000 never leaves your life insurance policy. They just put a lien on it. So as it was building compounding interest, it's still building compounding interest. It never stops. So it's like you never took the money. So you take the $20,000 from the insurance company. Yeah, they charge a small interest rate, but it's simple interest. I like these credit cards, these mortgages and all. It's just simple interest, right? So now you go do your transaction, $20,000 transaction. You make your return on it. Let's say you make $30,000. I don't know. You put that money back. You've made enough to actually cover the small, simple interest that accrued on that in that period of time. And your money was never disturbed from its compounding. Guys, life insurance, primarily cash value life insurance via whole life or some type of index universal policy are the way to go. Period. We have options if you're looking just to park your money and save for savings, or you're trying to, you want a vehicle that is going to kind of mimic a 401k or mutual fund, right? Not saying we're using this to replace those vehicles, but again, why would you want to invest your way to retirement? Investment means risk, because we know when you invest, you're investing. I'm taking a chance. Why would you want to do that with all your money? When you want to diversify, have some other safe options going on, common sense to tell you that, yes, I would like to do that, right? So hope you guys got something out of this. If you're interested in building your own vehicle via life insurance, it's going to give you all these benefits and also help you basically take control of your finances. Hit the link below. Let's discuss it more. Set up a call. I'll be looking forward to hearing from you. And as always, if you know where your money's going, you can make better decisions. That's what this is all about. I'll talk to you guys on the next episode.